Hey guys, what's up? It's Drew. I'm giving this video blog from my living room. And today I wanted to do a blog about something that you guys are probably not even going to expect from me because most of my base is conservative and conservative libertarian. And I always talk about free market economics and so forth. But recently this week, it has really come to my, realization that I actually like, as a person, as a character, I actually like Bernie Sanders as a person more than I do Ted Cruz. I mean, can I say that again? I mean, me as a person, I actually like Bernie Sanders as a person more than I like Ted Cruz as a person. Because even though I might prefer, I guess, the general layout of what would be a Ted Cruz economic policy, I guess what I would think would be a Ted Cruz economic policy, I don't trust the guy. And you know why I don't trust the guy? It's not just because he's gaining on Donald Trump. It's because of the way he's gaining on Donald Trump. Look at how, look at what he did to Ben Carson and look at what he's still doing. And it's so blatant and it's so in your face. And he doesn't even try to pretend that he's ashamed. He doesn't even try to pretend. Now, I've said it before that I believe in pragmatism, right? I believe in pragmatism. But as a pragmatist person who is somewhat invested in the outcome of this election, I really don't think it's going to benefit the United States to have another politician that's establishment that you cannot trust. You can't, okay, let me rephrase that because you can't trust politicians, period. But when somebody is just blatantly in your face, a snake, a liar, a piece of shit, it's like, why would you put that guy in the most powerful seat in the world? Now, it's different when, and then some people may say, okay, well, you support Donald Trump, so you don't have the right to say that. That's not true because, listen, you can't minimize Donald Trump into just, you can't just call him just a racist. You can't just say he's just this or just that. We've known Donald Trump for 30 years. Okay, he's built a reputation for 30 years. It's irrational and not logical to, define who he is in just an election cycle. I've been reading Donald Trump's books for years. I've been reading his books since I was like a teenager. I'm 30 years old now. You know what I mean? So I know Donald Trump to be other things than the media is describing him to be. But with Ted Cruz, it's not the same thing. It's like nothing matches up with this guy, And I'm a conservative, and I appreciate conservative principles and conservative, libertarian conservative policies, especially the economic policies. I think there's a need for them right now, you know. But honestly, I think that this guy's character, you can't trust it. I feel like, and not only that, he also doesn't have the resources. And he also is a total puppet. So if he's a total puppet and he's got no integrity, when he gets into the office, he's not going to do anything. I mean, look at his childhood video where he's talking about what his goals are to accumulate, world domination and to accumulate power. Not even Trump is that forth. You know why Trump doesn't even, if you look at the video of a young Trump, you know why Trump doesn't talk about, accumulating more power and world domination? Because he's always been in the lap of he's always been in some kind of lap of luxury or powerful position since he was younger. To make it like a kind of a joke, he was born of power. Ted Cruz merely immersed himself in it, but Donald Trump was born of power and privilege and wealth and prestige. So it's not like when power, sure, he has a big ego, but it's not like he's incapable of handling power. Donald Trump is very good at handling power. Okay, let's just put it that way. He's done some questionable things, but who with power has not done questionable things? You know, the most, I think the most negative thing that Donald Trump maybe could have done was kick an old lady or try to get an old lady out, of a certain spot because he thought that that person's property was blocking the view or looking ugly and so forth. But I think that that lady is actually voting for Donald Trump. She actually supports him. So it's so funny. And also, if you notice, Trump recently came out and said that if he were running, he'd like maybe to have Marco Rubio be his vice president. He said maybe John Kasich. He said maybe, who else did he say? Scott Walker, who's not even supporting him. So Donald Trump is just competing, and he's letting people know that he's just competing. But Ted Cruz, I really think that he's very underhanded. Like, and I've never actually thought about this, but I actually like Bernie Sanders more than I like Ted Cruz. Bernie Sanders, in my opinion, like I've stated before and I've explained logically, in my opinion, he may have the wrong idea about the system and how to fix it. Okay, but at least he's being sincere about what he believes in. I think he's being sincere. I think he has the wrong idea, but at least he's being sincere in what he believes in. Ted Cruz is just saying whatever, doing whatever to accumulate more power for himself. He's a typical kind of politician that we don't need in office. You know what I mean? He's a typical guy that we don't need in office. I know that John Kasich is another establishment politician, but I mean, he even seems more reasonable than Ted Cruz. I think Ted Cruz is like a nightmare. I honestly do. And I never really thought about this until recently, but it's just the way that he knows that he has unearned victories, and he's not even pretending to be ashamed about that. He's not even saying, he's not even saying anything about it. He's acting like he's winning these victories and gaining on Trump, fair and square. And the whole world can see that he's not. And that is insulting. That kind of like blatant disregard. And you know what? As a pragmatist, I get what he's doing, but if he was really pragmatic, he wouldn't show his cards to the world. I mean, at least Obama in his acquisition of power is a lot more slick. Ted Cruz is just, he thinks he can just smile and give a generic speech while he just does, underhanded things and just screws people over left and right. I think it's silly, and I don't respect the guy. I think Ted Cruz is a clown. To be honest with you, I really do think he's a clown. And I know I called Bernie Sanders a loser in my past videos, but I really think that Ted Cruz is a clown. He's just like, this is the kind of guy you would never want to deal with in business, or you just can't trust him. He's a snake in the grass, and he will chew your ankle. He will inject poison into you the first opportunity he gets to advance himself. And I do not support that. I support loyalty, and I support, if you notice, Donald Trump came to I know it was probably strategic, but he came to the defense of Bernie Sanders. He came to the defense of Ben Carson. He came to the defense of many people who are just, not being treated well by the system. And I think that that's great. That's what a leader does. You know what I mean? But this guy, Ted Cruz, is not a leader. He's a follower. He'll say whatever he can to get ahead. And all you conservatives that are going over and supporting him, you're making yourself look as bad as the liberals who just support Hillary Clinton just because she's liberal. There has to be some kind of logical breakdown as to why you support a candidate. But, with Ted Cruz, it's like you can't even trust that he's going to do anything he says he's going to do, not because of anything else, but the fact that he is a scumbag, period. He's a scumbag. And you know what? I think he's extremely highly intelligent. He's highly intelligent. He knows the political process. He knows his way around it. But I don't trust him at all. And I'm not saying that I just blindly trust Donald Trump, but you can trust Trump to be Trump. Ted Cruz, it's like you don't even know who he is. Or maybe you do know who he is. We know he's a snake, and you can trust that he's going to be a snake, but that doesn't help us. You see, Donald Trump, you can trust. Donald Trump is going to be Trump. Bernie Sanders is going to be Bernie Sanders, and maybe even to an extent, Hillary Clinton is going to be Hillary Clinton. But with Ted Cruz, I mean, it's like this guy is just there's no, and the thing that kills me about it is like there's no human factor to it. He doesn't even talk about it. He acts as if nobody can see what he's doing. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable. Anyway, I'm out. Leave some comments below if you want to discuss this. And I'm out. I'm going to have a wonderful anniversary dinner with my girl. And you guys have a wonderful week. Take care.